Alright folks, welcome back. I'm going to go through some video solutions to these GCSE Key Skills questions. So question A then, 5x minus 6 equals 29, and we're asked to solve that equation. So let's start then. 5x minus 6 equals 29. Well, the first step is to deal with this minus 6. We want to get rid of this minus 6 from this side. Well, to get rid of it, we're going to do the opposite of minusing 6, which is adding 6. We're going to add 6 to both sides. Now, if we add 6, the reason we've done that is to get rid of the minus 6, so we're just left with 5x here. And on the right hand side of the equal sign, we've got 29, add 6, we get 35. Now, we need to get rid of this 5x, we only want 1x. Well, to get from 5x to 1x, we need to divide by 5. And anything we do to one side, we've got to do to the other side, so we divide by 5, and we get 35 divided by 5 gives us 7. So x equals 7 is our answer. We've solved that equation. We found the value of x. Right then, question 3, we're showing this thing on a number line. Well, let's have a look at what it says. It says we've got an x, we've got a symbol and a 3. So we actually read that as x is less than 3. So we want to show everything less than 3 on the number line. Now we can see the numbers here less than 3, minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2 and so on. We can draw a line then to show we want those particular numbers. So well, we want numbers less than 3, so we'll draw an arrow going this way first of all to show it's that direction. When we get to 3 then, we actually draw a non-coloured in circle. And that is because if we have less than or greater than, we have a non-coloured in circle. If we have less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, then we have a filled in circle. I always remember it, the more ink it takes to draw the symbol, the more ink it takes to colour in the circle. So this line here then is showing the inequality x is less than 3. Right, question 3, simplify 12 over 14. Simplifying fractions then, we have to find a number that goes into or can divide both the top number, the numerator, and the bottom number, the denominator. Well, 12 and 14 are both even, so I can actually divide both of those by 2. 12 divided by 2 gives me 6. 14 divided by 2 gives me 7. Now it won't always be 2 you divide by, but you can try numbers. You're best to try things like 2, then try 3, 5, 7. It's usually the prime numbers you try. We divide both of those by 2 to get 6 over 7. Now, 6 over 7, can that be simplified? Well, 6 is equal to 2 times 3, and 7 is equal to, well, it's a prime number, so it's equal to 1 times 7. Its only factors are 1 and itself. Now, because none of those numbers are shared, the 2 and 3 don't match up with the 1 or the 7, that can't be simplified. 6 over 7 is our final answer. Question D, work out 30% of 150. We've got a hint there that says find 10% first. Well, actually, in that 150, that is equal to 100%. 100% of the number is 150. We want to find 10%. So we ask ourselves, how do we get from 100% down to 10%? We divide by 10. Do the same to both sides then. Divide that by 10 also, and we get 15. So 15 is 10%. Well, how do we get from 10% to 30%? We times both sides by 3. 15 times 3 then is 45. E then, find the nth term of the sequence 3, 7, 11, 15, 19. Right, let's have a look. How do we get from 3 to 7, from 7 to 11, 11 to 15, and 15 to 19? 3 to 7 we add 4, 7 to 11 we also add 4, and that pattern continues. Each of those is add 4. Now that tells us that our nth term is going to be 4n. We're going to add something on the end here, maybe add or subtract something on the end. And to find out what goes in that box, the badly drawn box, we go backwards from 3, we take away 4 instead of adding 4 because we're going back the other direction, doing the opposite of whatever's on top of that previous arrow going forward. 3 take away 4 then gives us -1. We get 4n minus 1. That's our final answer, just 4n minus 1. That's the nth term of that sequence. Right, question F, sharing £60 in the ratio of 2 to 3. Well, that's 2 parts to 3 parts. And what we're going to do with those two is add them together, the 2 parts and the 3 parts, so we get 5 total parts. Well, 5 parts then is worth £60, because we're sharing £60. £60 is equal to 5 parts. But we want to find out the value of 1 part first of all. Well, to get from 5 parts to 1 part, we divide by 5. To get from £60 down to 1 part, we're also going to do the same. We're going to divide by 5 on the left-hand side. Same to both sides. 60 divided by 5 then gives us 12. So £12 is worth 1 part. But we wanted 2 parts and 3 parts. Well, in that case then, if £12 is 1 part, 2 parts, well that's 2 times £12, which is £24. Similarly, 3 parts is 3 times the £12, is £36. So actually when sharing that out we get £24 and £36. £24 to £36. Question G. Work out the value of 2 to the power of 3 plus 4 to the power of 2, or 2 cubed and 4 squared. And our hint tells us there then work them out separately and then add them. Or 2 to the power of 3 is 2 times 2 times 2. So we do 2 times 2 times 2, because there's a 3 at the top, there's 3 2's there. 2 times 2 is 4, times by 2 again is 8. 4 squared now, that's 4 times 4, we're squaring it, timesing it by itself, that's 16, 4 times 4. Now we need to add those two together. 8 add 16 and we get 24. 24 is our answer then for question G. Question H then, find the prime factor decomposition of 30, giving your answer in index form. Quite a lot of going on there then, prime factor decomposition in index form. And our hint says draw a factor tree. Well, let's draw a factor tree for 30 then. Break it down into 2 numbers that multiply together to give 30. They're factors, so let's do 3 and 10. And then, well, 3 is a prime number, so we can stop there. 10 becomes 2 and 5. What this factor tree tells us now then is that 30 is equal to 3 times 2 times 5. And it looks a bit nicer now if we write that as 2 times 3 times 5, put the numbers in ascending order. So actually then with this question there is no change between the normal form and index form. Let's have a look at an example where there is a change then. Let's look at 50. Well, the factor tree for 50, let's say 5 and 10, and then 10 is 2 times 5. Well, that tells us that 50 is equal to 5 times 2 times 5. Well, let's put that in ascending order, put the 2 first. Index form then would mean turning that 5 times 5 just into 5 squared. So that last part there is index form, whereas this 30 doesn't have an index form, it's just the same, 2 times 3 times 5. Last question then, question I, expand 3 and then in brackets m minus 7. Hint, use the grid method. Well, the grid method then looks like this. Hopefully you'll use a pencil and a ruler, it'll look much better than my grid. Well, it's a 2 by 1 grid. Let's put the 3 on the left, where's 1, and then the m minus 7 on the top, where we have 2 separate boxes. And we're multiplying to find out what goes inside those boxes. 3 multiplied by m gives us 3m. 3 multiplied by minus 7 gives us minus 21. So when we expand this then, we get what's in those boxes, 3m minus 21. Okay, be careful here then, a lot of people make a common mistake. So the mistake people make is they look at their grid, and for this part here, they go 3, minus 7. I've got to do 3 take away 7, and they put minus 4 in here. They've done 3 take away the 7, got minus 4. That's not correct. You need to remember, you need to multiply to get what's inside that box. And then finally, to finish off, what we have for you here, folks, is GCSE Key Skills questions round 2. Now you'll notice these questions are very similar to the last set. Some numbers have been changed about, some things here and there have been changed, but your experience with the previous questions in this video, the rest of this video, should help you answer these questions. Off you go.